for having assistance from international community. Now we have to pay back.
Wow. I never knew these background stories.
Yeah.
Wow. President Adams, many universities have flourished through cooperation with other international universities. I would like to hear some examples of those.
A very personal story, Kent, with my university, Fairleigh Dickinson University. Put yourself, it's 1962 in Bangkok, Thailand, no major universities, and an individual said we need to develop a comprehensive school. He receives a license to create a vocational school, not a university, hires a young individual as president, and asks my founder, Peter Sammartino, to sponsor him. So the young man comes and shadows my university president, and my university makes a commitment. They say that the only way you build great schools is great faculty, and so my university sponsored graduate education for 2 faculty a year for 15 years. My university sent every summer faculty over for curriculum development, partnering with faculty, not directing, but partnering. He even talked the board of governors of my university to go over one summer and talk about governance systems. So over time, we created this DNA or alignment, intellectual alignment, academic alignment to help an institution grow. Flash forward 50 years. That DNA alignment, that association is today Bangkok University with 27,000 students in one of the major regional universities. So I asked myself 50 years later, I wasn't there to do that, but I asked myself now, where in the world should I partner? Should I, as a university president, invest my emotional, intellectual DNA to cause that to happen again? In fact, I think we all should be asking that question, because it's those kinds of relationships that truly bond each other and create anew.
That's more than 40 years, that's 50 years.
50 years ago, yes.
Professor Milgram, could you think of areas for academic cooperation between Korea and Israel?
Actually, yes. I mentioned today in the forum that I really admire the attitude that you Koreans have toward education. And we can all see the results in the achievements of your students in international exams. And I think your rank is very high and very impressive. And I'm sure that we shall have much to study from your institute in teacher education. And I think that collaboration could be done in that area. We in Israel have a very good name in innovation, in creative thinking and sciences, and I think these areas should be interesting for your universities. And we also have PhD programs that are very attractive for students from abroad, including Korean students, and I am sure that we can also expand this kind of relations.
The level of IT infrastructure in higher education indicates the competitiveness of universities. Could you tell us more about these?
Of course. There's a race underway. There's a race underway in the university community. The tools have changed and are changing. The capacity of the tools to teach and learn are changing. They're changing radically. The tools are allowing us to connect with each other. We can connect instantly around the world. My university, we've wired every classroom so a faculty can walk in, plug into the wall, and be on the internet and be talking to a global faculty colleague in Seoul or in Jerusalem, live with the students. And the access to information because of technology is so profound. The gateways are down. We have channels of information and access and speed. Libraries are changing. The tools are changing so radically. So what our challenge is, President Kim and I are in a race. We're in this race, and how do we respond? How do we integrate all of these new tools into the learning environment, into the doing environment, into the skill set our faculty use, the way our students demand and expect to learn and interact, is a huge challenge. And there is this transformation going on. The new strategy is the Red Queen approach is no longer sufficient. The Red Queen approach is just run as fast as you can in place and you'll be okay. It's no longer okay. So technology is influencing everything we do. But technology has got to be used as a strategy, not as a toy. And that's the challenge for our faculty and for academic leadership around the world.
It seems like the learning process is only the half. You got to do something.
Absolutely. You've caught on exactly right. It's not only using technology to learn, but once you've learned, using technology to do. That's how you change the world.
To connect, to collaborate, to create something.
Create, to generate, to, yes, absolutely right.
Mr. Damodaran, the importance for international cooperation of higher education is well acknowledged. What are some cooperation measures pursued by subordinate bodies of UN other than UNAI?
Well, actually, Kent, you have examples right here in this room. President Kim and Handong Global University have pioneered a unique program called Global Entrepreneurship Training, where Korean students work with students in East Africa. And this started even before UNAI in partnership with the United Nations Development Program and UNESCO, the Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization. But I think it really requires the genius of the institution to be able to tap these resources, come up with a workable idea, and get that partnership going. President Adams has talked about new technologies, but I think he would concede that some old technologies are still very durable, and he is responsible for getting United Nations radio programs on university campuses around the world. Because we produce radio programs, but we don't have a radio station. And so we send them to broadcasting stations around the world, and you're in the medium, and you know that broadcasting stations are rather picky about what they get, and they're being supplanted by television and other means. But campuses still have a very live audience for radio programs. And so thanks to Michael Adams, we have that audience. One of the most recent achievements of Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has been setting up what is known as the United Nations Gender Entity. It's called UN Women. So it's really brought together all the United Nations offices dealing with gender issues